And today on Messing About with CPCs, we are going to perform a hard Brexit on this French CPC6128. So what we're going to do is we're replacing the Amstrad 40051, the French system ROM, with an English one. And we're going to replace the 40015 disk ROM with Parados at the same time. Now, this 6128 has really been in the wars. It's got some liquid damage over here, which we've had to fix. Basically, the two of the pins on two of the RAM chips weren't connected because they basically the track had rusted away, and also it was having problems with the disk drive because again a little bit of water had got underneath the 765, and one of the pins, pin 12, which should have been connected to pin 4 of that IC, also became corroded. Now we only kind of realised that after I desoldered the 765, but it also enabled me to get underneath it, give it a good old clean up, and put a socket in at the same time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some solder on all of these pins of these two chips. It just gives the solder sucker kind of more sort of an area to suck the solder out of. Also, these tracks are really delicate, so kind of the more solder we've got on there, hopefully the easier it will be to get the existing solder out. I don't think this is old enough to be, or rather I don't think this is new enough to be lead free. It's probably wonderful leaded solder, but that's how we like it. Okay, let us begin. Let us convert this French thing to an English thing. So we'll just put a little bit of solder on there. Ooh, a bit too much solder there, that's alright. Sound a bit gay. Never mind. Normally I would be wearing my goggles for this so I can actually get close, but because I'm videoing this today, I can't use them, which is a bit of a pain in the what's it. But it's all for the it's all for a good cause. The more English we can make the CPC, the better. Hey Simon.
Yes.
Wonderful. So that's one. Oh, I really wish I could see these pins. I'm doing quite well so far. Yeah, this poor machine's had a bit of a... I don't know whether it's kept in someone's garage or something like that, but it just had a couple of spots on the board where it was corroded away. I mean, I know it's French, but it doesn't deserve that. We need some jaunty music playing in the background. Copyright free, of course. That by the time this goes up on my channel, it will have music on it. Okay, so we put a load of solder on there. We will fire up the desoldering thing and start sucking all the solder out. Okay, so now we do need to be able to see the board to do this really. I remember the good old days when we had to use manual solder suckers and this never worked. Don't you, Simon?
It's a long time ago.
Things were different back then. Don't know what the neighbours think. There's not goal there. Simon, what do you think neighbours think?
Well, it depends whether they can hear it, because they obviously can't hear when they're making noise next door.
Yeah, they're quite noisy bastards, aren't they? I haven't had this much fun in ages. Just kind of move it around as much as possible just to get the most amount of solder out and most amount of heat into the joint. God, how long did this used to take, Simon?
Still we do the first 2 pins, I think.
Yeah. It's like too much heat, not enough heat, too much heat, not enough heat. Oh my god.
Oh dear, I've filled the board.
Yeah. Oh dear, all the tracks have lifted and the whole thing's dead. Okay, so that looks reasonably clear. Next. I'm bored now. Doesn't help they're so close to each other either. Thanks Amstrad design team. We just hold it on for a few seconds just to get the heat through the wires. Guys, gets heavy after a while. And what we'll find is if they're not kind of clean all the way through, we just put a little bit more solder on. And then just suck that out as well again. Simon hopefully has brought a 32K EEPROM.
I have indeed.
And I've got an EEPROM for Parados. So we should be good to go. You getting all this, Simon?
I'm getting it all in glorious Technicolor.
God, that'll be something for the 8-year-olds who watch this channel to understand. Technicolor? What's Technicolor, mister? It's like back in the day, my television used to be black and white. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shine a torch from behind the board so we can see how well the holes have cleared out, and then we will have a visual inspection on top. Ooh, pretty. I mean, that looks pretty good. Can't see too much wrong with that. Okay, so let's now have a look on the other side. So really just looking for just any solder that's still left in the holes, but again that looks... What do you think, Simon? I think that looks pretty good to me.
Looks very clean, yeah.
Right, okay. So we can now try taking them out then, can't we? Okay, so now we're going to leave them out with my tweezers. And hopefully they will just they will just come out. You've got to be quite careful here because it's quite easy to pull up the pads when you take it out. But that's kind of looking good. Ooh. Oh, that doesn't feel good. Yeah, one of them's come up with it, I can see. Okay, let's see if we can get the... Yeah, we've got one up, but that's fine. I think we can deal with that. Let's see if the other one will come out now then. Interestingly enough, on the board it actually says 40025 for the ROM, not even 40051, so it's the same board they use for all of them obviously. So let's see if we can get this out now. God, that one again is in there quite well. We'll just move it around a little bit, see if we can get it out the oh, hello. And we've got another one there. Oh, this can end up being really fun. I think I need to get in on that with a microscope. It's always one. It's always one, Simon.
Always the one.
In this case two. Right. Okay. So we've got a little bit of damage to repair there. So I need to get that under the microscope. Okay, so we've got a few damaged areas here. Remember when I said these tracks were really, really thin? So I'm going to take a picture now, because we're just going to have to rewire these points after we put the ROMs back in again. So we'll take a picture and get the ROMs programmed up, get them in and get the wires fixed. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut these tracks that have lifted down a bit, and then we'll be able to solder to them and also plot, you know, where they go. So we'll just cut that one off. There we go. We've got this one here as well. That's off. We don't want any kind of loose tracks flapping about in the breeze. So we want it all off there. So that looks a bit happier. And we do have the service manual for this, so if we do need to look anything up, we can still do that. We're going to socket up the ROMs. It's always a good idea to put a socket in when you've been repairing something. Oh, which one to do first? Might need to get under the microscope to see this properly. Oh, that's going to make filming fun, Simon. Could make filming loads of fun. Can't see as well as I used to be able to.
It's getting old.
I bloody well am. Ooh. It's in. She's in. Right, I should have got the other one really, shouldn't I? And we'll put the second one on. These things never quite go according to plan, but there we go. Right, now we flip it over and do a nice bit of soldering, which could use my soldering, could use my microscope for. Can you see that, Simon?
Yep.
Okay. Right. Where do I begin? Begin at the beginning.
And end somewhere near the end.
See, at least I can actually see when I'm using my microscope. You 8 viewers, all 7 of you, one day you'll be old. And sooner than you think. God, I remember the good old days when I was 16. I say good old days. Actually, they were quite fun. I expect some feedback from you, Simon, saying, "Oh, yeah, did you enjoy the steam trains
Well,
and 4 cars?"
Well, I'm still amazed you have a pile of coal in the corner to power something.
Well, you can't beat a little bit of coal. It's actually, you know, for people's Christmas stockings who've been naughty. Just fill them up with coal, or a copy of Jamie Oliver's new book. Either or, really. I mean, I know nobody really deserves that because, you know, the guy's a tosser. But, you know, well, this is all going swimmingly. Oh, good old leaded solder. You've got to love it, haven't you? And don't worry about to see a fuel mixture action. Don't try this at home. So, kebab for dinner tonight, Simon?
That sounds like a plan.
So that or a curry. But I think kebab would be nice.
Oh, just look at the speed. Not bad for an old man.
I know. Right, there we go. They are soldered in and everything. Right, so we're going to just do a blank check on this. Okay, it's blank. We're going to check our EEPROM image again. That looks full to me. And now we're going to program it. Really? Okay, let's reset this, shall we? There we go. Program, damn you. Well, it doesn't like something. We've changed the programming voltage to 21 volts, which is what it says on the chip. Not what came up in the programming software. We'll see if we can program it now. Well, would you look at that? Then we will put this in the CPC that we have socketed and now repaired. Okay, and that verifies fine. So let's fit it. So we're going to put this in that socket. Now I can clearly see that these legs probably just need a little bit of bending to straighten them up and to get them in the socket. We'll just take the power out of that for a second. Definitely the right way around. Cool. Need bending a little bit more. There we go. Okay, it is in the socket. Looks okay. So let's see if we can get a power on screen. Well, while you look at that, so Amstrad, now before that said F3, so now it's V3, so that should now be an English CPC. Now we're going to program up the Parados ROM. For this we have a 27128 AMD, I think, actually. Yeah, an AMD. There we go, and it's a DIP28 with 12.5 volt programming. Is it an A? Yes, it is. Okay. And we'll open up the Parados image. That looks alright. Okay, we'll now put the ROM in the programmer and give it a program. Okay, so I don't know why the voltage says 13.5, but what is a volt between friends? Done. We're going to replace the 40015 with a new Parados ROM and keep our fingers crossed. all the things this CPC has seen. There we go. Let's give it some power. Definitely in the right way. And we have Parados and an English ROM. So the last thing we're going to do is plug the keyboard in and make sure that the keyboard mapping is now English and not French. We're going to see if the keyboard has now been mapped to a UK keyboard. So the A should be there and the Q should be there. So we'll just do a catalogue of the disk we've got in the drive. That looks pretty good to me. And that is now an English keyboard. So we have successfully Brexited the French CPC and made it English. Right, so this board has been through the wars a little bit, and we have repaired it previously. So what we've done is we have fixed a link between two of the RAM chips. So when it was booting it up, it had a black border with a grey screen, and that was caused by this moisture damage that the board had suffered, and the link between these two chips was basically broken. So we soldered a little bit of Kynar wire just across there. Once that was fixed, we also had a problem with the floppy disk controller not working, and that was because bit 6 coming out of the disk interface was also damaged by water. So the pin that does bit 6 wasn't connecting up to the logic correctly. So we've also put a link in place just to fix that. And then over here, this is where we took the ROMs out and damaged 3 of the pads. So all we've done is just run, again, Kynar wire between the different pads just to link them back up again like they would have been if they hadn't been damaged. And moving to the other side, we have socketed the 765 floppy disk controller. Again, that was done as part of the fix for this. We have removed the French system ROM and replaced it with an English one on a 32K EEPROM. And we have removed the 40015 disk ROM and replaced it with a Parados 1.2 ROM. And that concludes this fix.